Ladies and gentlemen, you know the deal by now. Today is Sunday, tomorrow is Monday. Unlike last Monday, trading will resume tomorrow for the trading week. Now, here in this video, we're going to go over everything you need to know about AMC stock this week. And this week is a special week because AMC will report earnings on Wednesday. I'll give you the rundown of all of your other companies that will be reporting earnings as well, and my expectations around AMC earnings, what I think can and will happen, or maybe I'm optimistically delusional. That's obviously a potential, and yeah, we'll see what ultimately happens. So we're going to get into that here in this video and all of the data that you need to know. In the next video, we will actually be going over a price prediction on what I think will happen with AMC stock this week and go over all of the data coming out in this upcoming week because there's going to be a lot of data. So you definitely don't want to miss that video as well coming out later today. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, you know the shebang, and let's get started. So AMC stock on Friday was flat. Did nothing. It was up it was up 2 cents in regular trading, down 2 cents in after hours trading. You're currently at $4.42 per share, and I think this week will be a big one. Now, let's go through the economic data here first things first, and then get into kind of earnings, because that's going to be the main focus of this video, truly. But I do want to go over the data just so everyone has a good data backdrop to think about in regards to AMC earnings. Now, first up, percent of stocks above their 50-day moving average. Stocks have not been doing well overall. That's why I've been pointing this out. Ever since the dollar has started its rise, we're looking at this on a weekly chart. The dollar's been rising for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks in a row. And small cap stocks, mid cap stocks have not been doing well. Really, in theory, the S&P and the NASDAQ actual index itself should be inversing the dollar as well. It's happened ever since the Rona, and it's not happening now. So question really is, are we due for a pullback here since the dollar has been rising and the S&P has not been falling? I would think so. This last rise we've seen in the dollar from July to October, mid-October, early November, you've seen a 10.5% correction in the S&P. Just arbitrarily kind of looking at this rise and then looking at this rise, maybe the S&P or the NASDAQ should be down 5-ish% from where we are today. Could that happen quickly? Of course. That's why the economic data this week will be very important and why you definitely don't want to miss the next video coming out later today. The S&P did in fact hit a new all-time high on Friday and then got rejected quite aggressively. I mean, you hit that high in the beginning of the trading day and almost instantly got rejected and started flushing down towards the lows. You ended up closing at pretty much the lows of the day as well. You did get a last 2 or 3 minute sell-off in the S&P that did bring you down almost to the low of the day. And then the move in after hours took you to a new low of the day, right? The low of the day prior was 507.10. You hit that in the beginning of the trading day on Friday, and you ended up closing after hours at 507.08. So about 2 cents or so lower than the intraday low of the day. Not a great sign for the bulls heading into this upcoming week, especially again in regards to all of the data that will be coming out and the potential for the markets to move what could be to the downside this week. Now let's take a look at AMC here on Ortex. AMC does have a market cap of 1.12 billion, number 4,478 in the US. So AMC is definitely on the smaller cap side now. Not necessarily a penny stock just yet in terms of market cap, but in terms of the price, AMC is a penny stock. $4.42 per share. Anything under $5 technically considered a penny stock. Now on Friday's expiration, you had call open interest of 72.23%, put open interest of 27.77%, so almost a 3x ratio here, 3 times as many calls than puts. Now, for Friday, you had 3 orders totaling $40.4 thousand with a positive order value of 74%. 6%. So pretty bullish over there on Friday in AMC stock. So that is definitely on a positive note. Now, if you take a look at the short interest of free float, AMC short interest continues to rise pretty much relentlessly ever since the lows at about 7.98%. You have risen to 12.42%, basically 12.5%. So that has been good. You have $137.48 million worth of short positions. Days to cover 1.88, 31.1 million shares that are currently sold short. Shares out on loan, 33.92 million. Cost to borrow, 1.03%. Utilization of 51.91%. And a short score of 64.68 out of 100. So, over here, not the most impressive data overall, but still not terrible at the same time. Definitely, this data could be a lot worse than it is. Not like we're super squeezable at this moment in time, but it's not like we're super bad at the same time. Short interest 12%, still on the higher end level overall. Now, if you take a look at AMC and the sentiment, you are neutral at 48. Yesterday, you were bearish at 41. Message volume is 49 today. That is categorized as normal. Yesterday, it was at 53. So a little bit less message volume today on StockTwits. Doesn't mean a whole lot, though. Today is Sunday after all. And the participation ratio is at 54, which is the same as yesterday, categorized as normal, almost high. So there's more people talking about AMC today. Now, last week, you had about 7,600 calls expire in the money. Out the money calls at about 75,000. In the money puts at 12,000. Out the money puts at about 20,000. So essentially, at this moment in time, you've seen a lot of option activity last week. Now, AMC reports earnings this week, and you're not seeing as much option activity on the chain so far. You have 4,000 calls currently in the money, 39,000 calls out the money, 6,500 puts in the money, and about 10,000 puts that are out of the money. So I am expecting in this upcoming week, you are going to get a lot of rolling over from last week. So I think there could be a lot of rolling over, and I do believe we will see more option activity for this week's expiration, which will be on March 1st. That's just because AMC reports earnings. You see a lot of people that like to speculate, to gamble on AMC earnings, and this time, unfortunately, I am also a speculative degenerate for AMC earnings coming this week. Now, that's the next thing I want to focus on, AMC earnings. Tricky little bugger this is, because we're expecting bad numbers. Probably bad full year guidance, just because we're not expecting that much from the box office this year. That's not what is going to move AMC. AMC stock is not going to move based on, guidance or numbers. We're expecting them to be bad. You could make an argument that maybe numbers come in better than expected. And if numbers come in better than expected, maybe that could be incrementally positive for AMC. The thing that's really going to move AMC stock is what Adam Aron has to say on the earnings call. If we get a commitment to not diluting shareholders, then AMC stock will do very well. In my opinion, anything else, and the stock's probably going to do okay or sell off. I don't think we get a large rally on AMC earnings unless we get a commitment not to dilute shareholders. Now, it's possible that AMC in a weird way could announce a share buyback just because of how low the stock is today. And if they buy the stock back today, they can potentially sell stock at higher prices later on. Who knows? That is also something that could make sense to do. But we'll have to wait and see. That's not something I expect. Now, I do think we will get a commitment not to dilute shareholders for a, let's say, 6-month basis. If that were to happen, then I think AMC could go through some kind of a short squeeze-like event, right? I think AMC stock could rally above $10 per share if that were to happen. Now, I think it's a low likelihood of actually happening just because I've thought this should happen, a while ago. I thought this should have happened last earnings. Now you're in more of a dire situation if you are AMC, so maybe it makes sense now to do this because AMC has to get AMC stock higher to dilute shareholders at higher prices and collect more capital. And ultimately, that's like the only way to pay off AMC's debt coming due in 2026, about $3 billion worth. So yeah, I think there's not much of a choice for Adam Aron to do this. I don't know if he's that responsible though and is actually going to give us a commitment, let's say like a 6-month commitment, to not dilute shareholders. But that's what we need right now to get AMC stock to go higher. So I did buy some AMC 550 calls expiring a couple weeks out after earnings. I do think if we get that commitment, AMC's probably going above $10 per share in a relatively short amount of time over the next couple of weeks. If we don't, AMC stock probably trades back to the lows, and that's really the simplest way that I'm looking at AMC stock as of right now. So let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.